So yeah, where are you working right now? What's
yes.
your current job?
I'm currently doing two jobs. Right now I work at the New York Film Academy, which is where we are, 26 Broadway, and I work as a program coordinator for the game design, animation, and VR departments. In addition, I also work for Playcrafting, NYC, as a teacher's assistant for their 8-week Unity course.
So, yeah, first of all, I mean, do you know the history of how did the New York Film Academy get a game design?
That I don't know, actually. I mean, I've been here for about 5 months, 6 months.
Okay.
So I'm still relatively new to the whole culture of it. But I think we've been here, for about 3 years. I think the game design department is still fledgling. It's still relatively new in comparison, obviously, to the school's previous, dealings with film.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's still relatively new, and I was actually hired on to kind of rejuvenate, revitalize both game design and animation in terms of its organizational structure. So that's what I'm helping with now.
Cool. So what exactly is your position here?
What does a program coordinator do?
Right.
So I assist the chair, Phoebe Elefante, with scheduling classes, teachers, they're making sure the software is running and up to date, making sure we have the right supplies in all the classrooms, but also on occasion, like when we had our last game design students in, I would step in and kind of offer them some advice, or I would assist with their playtesting sessions and give them feedback on their games. So I still was able to kind of dabble in my field and be able to help them out. And as well, because I'm involved in animation and VR, I also get to learn a little bit, which is fantastic.
Huh. So are you working on your own project?
I am still working on my own projects. So with Playcrafting, I met up with a group of people in my class, and we created an unofficial company called EOS Interactive.
Can you spell that?
EOS space Interactive. And
what does that stand for?
Well, it doesn't actually stand for anything. It's based off the Eos, the goddess of the dawn. Yeah. Look her up. She is pretty fantastic.
What religion or belief was that?
I think it's the Greek pantheon. If I'm wrong, edit that out. But yeah, so I'm always inspired by, I love the sun. I love orange as a color personally. And Jose Zambrano, who is the main person I kind of created this group with initially, I met him in the class, and we started working on our own game, and we're looking up like interesting names and things like that, and we just kind of got inspired by that name. But also personally, I was inspired by the goddess of the dawn myself. Anyways, as a group, we're just a kind of loose collective of indie developers. We like to meet at a coffee shop or whatever once or twice a week, and we may be working on our own projects or prototypes, or you decide to collaborate on something together. And we kind of go through waves of like, okay, let's work on a group project, okay, let's work on some individual prototypes, see what sticks, and then if one of them sticks, let's all work on it as a group.
Have you completed any of these projects?
We have. So our first initial project was called Holocene, and that was done within a month, right after we got out of the 8-week Unity course back in 2015. And Jose and I were just, sitting in a coffee shop. We were like, okay, we barely know how to use Unity. We barely know how to use code. Let's try to make a game in a month. And that's what we did. And you look at the code now, it's absolutely awful. It's held together with hope and bubblegum. But it works.
Can we find this game anywhere?
We can't find the build of it. But you can find pictures of it on my website, our Facebook group, and our Twitter group. Twitter, EOS Interactive, Facebook, EOS Interactive, EOS Interactive, with a link to this video. Yeah, I mean, it's probably going to be there.
It'll be there.
But no, you can't play it. You can play it, we'll show it probably at one of the demo nights or at Play NYC if we have the available space. That's just we really like local multiplayer games, couch co-op or couch PvP, player versus player. And so what we found is, at the time, there weren't that many local co-op games, right? Everything's kind of online these days, right?
Yeah.
And to a degree, that's picked up a lot on like Steam and stuff like that. But at the time, there wasn't as much. And till this day, I still love creating or playing games that are local multiplayer. So we created that, and then our next project for the Global Game Jam of 2016, we created. So what it was a team of myself, me, Jose, Hisvacio Hassan, and Mike Nesta, all four of which were in our playcrafting course. Yeah, so when I was in the playcrafting course, I made it and you've heard me say this in the course, is like I made it an effort to sit next to a different person every time I was in there. Right? Just like expose myself, see what they're working on, have them critique my work, because like I'm paying so much money for a course, like I want to get networking out of it, right? Yeah. And so I sat next to Jose, and Jose was actually the same mentality as me. It was like, I'm here to network, I'm here to kind of, I can go to a demo night, but, if I don't have anything to show, like, I'm useless. So we met up there at the Global Game Jam, which was held at Microsoft as well. And we created a game called Ritualistic, which is a cooperative local multiplayer game. It's kind of like a Mario Party-esque mini game where you're playing witches and you're trying to like brew stuff and work as a team together. But like if one of you falls behind, like you get mad at each other because you all have to do it like in tandem. But what we have as an actual released product now is something called Don't Look Away. Don't Look Away VR. It's out on the Oculus Store. And it's playable with the Samsung Gear VR system. So if you have a Samsung and a Gear VR, you should totally play it. It doesn't require the controller, by the way. Cool. It's also free, which is great. We have, as of this point, we have almost 200,000 downloads, which is pretty awesome.
So what's the object of that game?
So I like to call it a VR experience. It's about it's 7 to 10 minute experience. The object is to not look away. You're trapped in a room. You can't really move. You can only move your head, right? So you're like trapped to a chair, and your character can't speak. And as they're sitting in this room, you can of course look around if you want to, but different things happen over the course of time. And there is some very minor interaction that you could do with like looking and gazing at something, but there's no like physical touch interaction, only to like go between menus with the side tapping button. But yeah, it's just like a horror experience. Did I say it was a horror experience?
No,
I probably should have prefaced with it. It's a horror experience.
Well, don't look away.
So it's great for little children. There's actually a whole bunch of YouTube reviews for it where you can see like little kids losing their shit.
Oh no!
It's great. It's absolutely wonderful. So that's what we released, and it's free, which is awesome. And right now, what we're doing is we're kind of going through a whole bunch of other prototypes to kind of see what works, and we're going to work on that next, whether it be VR again or not, we're going to see.